A familiar line of nurses eating their young comes into play. Many of us who've not yet graduated or have not yet stepped into the reality of the workplace have been exposed to the mentorship of the assigned staff nurse and instructor. We are the BSN3B Group 4A. I am Maria Jasmine Ruiz, together with my group mates Carlo Miguel Ruiz, David Schmidt, James Tyrell Strong, and Leonard Villaruz. Join us in our discussion as we unravel the truth about what makes constructive criticism so different from bullying and why is it so important to study it. For the introduction, 61.4% of students in the current study had experienced bullying at least once during their clinical training. 27.8% of bullied students reported the incidents. 61.1% of students did not report that they had been bullied due to the belief that the consequence of the perpetrator's behavior were simply part of their job. 59% of medical students can expect to be bullied by staff. The response of nursing students with the bullying as they have experienced usually leads to potentially harming the victim's learning in the workplace, influence career choices, create short and long-term mental health issues, and lead to self-harm and suicide. With the objectives of the study, this study aims to describe the lived experiences of bullying among nursing students in the clinical area in order to bring about an in-depth understanding of the experiences of bullying as experienced by the nursing students in the clinical area. For the significance of the study, I will be passing on the discussion to Mr. David Schmidt.
The College of Nursing Administrators to have an insight of what some of their students may be going through and may be able to find a way to help them cope up with certain situations. Future researchers may serve as a source in the future for any research in relation to bullying among nursing students in the clinical area. Nurse may also help them to cope with what the nursing students are going through in order to establish a positive and nurturing environment for the nursing students and staff nurses. Healthcare organizations bring awareness to the healthcare workers or staff and nurses to give support and guidance to the nursing students having their clinical experience under their care. Family of nursing students. Study may give them the idea of what their family member is experiencing during clinical exposures. Nursing students, more sensible to their future experiences as well as to prepare them in knowing how to respond to certain situations. For the theoretical and conceptual framework, CWB refers to the voluntary work behaviors with the intention of hurting the organization or its members. There are two major contributing factors in the CWB. These are the environmental antecedents and personal antecedents. Combinations of these factors are the main categories that are identified to play a role upon the decision-making or the responses of the individuals. The environmental antecedents consist of the physical environment and the social context, generally referring to the negative experiences of the employees, such as abusive supervision, problematic leadership, or incivility. The personal antecedents generally refer to personal factors that either increases or diminishes the effects of negative experiences, which are personality characteristics linked to experiencing motions or to control of the environment or the self.
So next, for the methodology, for the research design, phenomenology, research design, or approach in the embodiment in the work involving of a nurse involves a feeling and experiencing in relation to the patient as another experiencing body and is thus concerned with the subjective and his or her lived experience in health and illness. For the participants of the study include 6 individuals enrolled in one of the colleges of nursing from Bacolod City under the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program in the third year level. For the research instrument, the instrument will be an interview guide to gather needed data. The draft of the questionnaire was drawn out based on the researcher's readings, previous studies, published and unpublished theses relevant to the study. For the data gathering procedure, first we requested a letter to the College of Nursing. Next was the gathering of participants, then obtained informed consent. Then we conducted the interview and then the data analysis. So for the data analysis, the data from the participants will be gathered using Colite descriptive phenomenological method. So first was the familiarization, then identifying significant statements, and then formulating the meaning, next clustering themes, then developing an exhaustive description, next producing fundamental structures, and finally seeking verification. For the results and discussion, for the first theme, the negative emotional and psychological responses. Next, second theme is effects of bullying to the learning experience. And then the third theme is cynical occurrences. So for the first theme, um, emotional and psychological responses for the significant statements. Technical. It's sad in our part as students, and somehow I feel angry of what the other person did. I'm bothered at the thought that of feeling both the desire and fear in learning. For the table two, or the next theme, effects of bullying to the learning experience. For the morals, significant statements, this is what breaks a relationship, especially in our field where coordination is important. It's really hard when there is an existence of bullying. And then for the last theme, cynical occurrences in the clinical area. For the values, because sometimes bullies are bullying others because they themselves have problems that they face.
For the conclusion, the predominant type of bullying are verbal and social bullying, and falls either to the overt or covert category as experienced by the nursing students. Nursing students feel like they cannot attain their fullest potential in terms of their practical skills learning experiences due to the fear of failing and being humiliated with the instructor or staff nurse. Compromise nursing care to the patient due to the lack of supervision or guidance from the instructor. For the recommendation, definite set of guidelines shall be followed by clinical instructors and staff nurse. Clinical exposure handbook shall then include the do's and don'ts of the students, clinical instructors, and nursing staff alike. Lobbied to the Faculty of Nursing. For the utilization, the research method utilized was a key informant interview. The limitations of the current circumstance of the COVID-19 has led for the researchers to utilize alternative means in gathering the data, in which the researchers shall be using social media platforms such as messenger calls or Zoom calls in order to virtually interview the participant.
And here is our reference. Lastly, we, the BSN 3D Group 4A, deeply appreciates the effort given to us by our clinical instructors in Nursing Research 1 in guiding us to fulfill the requirement assigned and expected of us. Our sincere gratitude to Dr. Sheila M. Trajera for patiently teaching us the information that we needed to learn and improve in our work. To our families for supporting us in our needs in fulfilling the needed materials in order to meet the standard and requirements of our subject, Nursing Research 1. Lastly, we would like to commend the hard work of our fellow group members as we collaborated, brainstorm for themes and concepts, and formulate ideas and conclusions in our research to finish our study. May the fruits of our labor bear positive impact upon the lives of others. May God bless us all.
Thank you for listening. Our group is now open for further clarifications.